Hey, this is Sam Black with some closing thoughts on this colorless Eldrazi deck that I just 5-0'd that league with, which I'm not going to lie, did exceed my expectations. Everything played out pretty well. Sometimes the deck is just like definitionally clunky. That's kind of priced in, but it has just a lot of options and a lot of power. It's really nice that all the mana does other stuff, like almost all of it. Not literally all of it, but a tremendous amount of the mana does other stuff. The Warping Whale type cards, Warping Whale and From Beyond, just play a lot of different roles, gives the deck a lot of play in a lot of different dimensions. Spawning Bed was great, Sanctum of Ugin was great, and Majoring Network was great. Majoring Network was very impressive. Not at all fast, but it has enough stuff to slow the opponent down. It plays much more like a control deck than the other ramp decks do, but it does it in a way that seemed to very thoroughly go over the top of the other mid-range decks in the format, which is a pretty nice place to be, especially if the rally matchup is as conclusive as that kind of looked. So, yeah, this deck's pretty sweet. As for potential changes, it's hard to dislike too much. Everything played pretty well. The lands that are 4-ofs are all great. Crumbling Vestige is the most questionable. It's possible that you have more sources than you need of the colors. Shrine of the Forsaken Gods isn't very good in the main deck, but it gets a lot better anytime you bring in the Ugins and the extra Ulamog. It's pretty unexciting when you're using artifact mana to ramp rather than searching for lands to ramp. So I think that it's just not a thing that you need more of. Seagate Wreckage was awesome the one time I got to use it several times in a game. I could see doing something like cutting a Crumbling Vestige for a second Seagate Wreckage, but I basically like where the lands are at. Similarly, I actually kind of like where the artifact mana is at. When I saw this deck, I was really surprised that it didn't have Hedron Crawler, and I expected that I'd want to add that, but I really like not turning on opponent's small removal and not needing to worry about Kha'Zix turning away your own mana. It's weird because that seems like it shouldn't be much of an issue because Warping Whale gives you one-shot mana that you then use to play something bigger, and Hedron Crawler does the same thing, but Hedron Crawler is more likely to make your opponent take the time to use a removal spell, partially because it warns them that that's the thing, and partially because it's just a more threatening looking, even if it would actually play pretty similarly. But also just the versatility of Warping Whale makes it a much better card than the Crawler that's really horrible anytime other than exactly turn 2. And since this deck is more of a control deck than a ramp deck, really, it makes sense to just not want to go there. So I really like the construction of this deck quite a bit. The sideboard is a little loose. It's very hard to find room for all the Titan's presences while bringing in creatures. Don't know about the fourth one there. Bane of Belagad didn't come up, didn't play against ramp, but I would be interested in potentially doing something like cutting a Titan's Presence and maybe the Bane for 2 crumbled dusts, especially if one concluded that that's where it is best to be against rally. It's also going to be good against ramp and anyone with a lot of creature lands. And if you go that way, then Oblivion Sower becomes a question, kind of competing with Reality Smasher, doing similar things. But yeah, deck's awesome. Main deck is very tight as it is. Sideboard would be the place that I'd look to improve it. But that is all for now.